Thank you so much for joining. My name is Nadia Touch. I'm a health and life coach, and today's conversation is about how to balance your everyday life. This conversation is picked by our members of Friends and Health Facebook group. It is closed, but it's free Facebook group for you. If you want daily inspiration and accountability and motivation in your wellness journey. Friends and Health Facebook group, join us. So how do you balance your everyday life? Sometimes your life looks like my hair, unbalanced. And it's so overwhelming from the moment you open up your eyes to the moment you close your eyes, and then you have to open them again and go through the same thing every day. Waking up, taking care of yourself if you have a few minutes, then it's the family, it's the breakfast, it's the kids go to school, saying goodbye to your husband going to work, then dealing with your own job, and then by the time you come home from your job, it's 7, dinner, 8, 9, 10, finally at 10, maybe you have a few minutes to breathe. Some days are like that. How in the world do you balance all that and find that space you can say, yeah, my life is kind of cool. It's all balanced and it's in peace and it's all nice. Yeah. Someday you actually may say, feels kind of good. Today has been a pretty good day. So yeah, something was somewhat balanced. That will be an ideal day, and that's something we strive for. But most of the days is, that expression, you're like the squirrel on the wheel, it just never stops. And where is the balance in there? So how in the world do you find that balance? Why do we want balance? Well, first of all, we want to feel happy. We want to feel that everything we do makes sense, that we are loved, that our love is felt by our loved ones, and and balance is a big part of it. Don't you think so? So I actually wonder, in your life, why is that important to you to find that balance? Why? For me, just like I mentioned, it's balance is somewhat connected with love and peace. And that's the ultimate goal. I just want to be happy. And balance it's like that scale. That's that. So why do you want balance? What does balance means to you? Put in the comments. Don't worry, there is a way. So let's talk about how to find balance in your everyday life. Well, just as I mentioned, define what balance means to you. And let's get it out of the way. If you're one of the people who love that word multitasking, if you're a multitasker, let's get this one out of the way first. There is no multitasking. And if you're one of those, you're probably like yelling at me right now, no, she's wrong. There's really no multitasking in your brain. What your brain does and your body follows, you're switching the tasks from one to another, and back. You're switching the tasks. What's the balance in there? If you switch on the tasks, you're really not focused on a task. You're switching the tasks. Thank you for watching. So, there's no multitasking. There is switching between the tasks. So we got this out of the way, talking about the balance in everyday life. And I kind of want to step back and just start with something very simple, what works for me to find that balance. So here's when I go into a new action. So let's see, your life, your everyday is switching from one action to another, from one action to another, from one action to another. Let's say you woke up, you brushed your teeth, you used your bathroom, then your kid walks in, you're switching the task saying good morning. Your kid walks away, you're switching the task, you're getting dressed, preparing, then you're switching the task, making them breakfast, you're switching the task, saying goodbye to them, you're switching the task, exercise, switching the task, work. Even within the work hours, you're switching tasks, okay? So how do you find the balance in everyday life? Number one, it's incredible. When you are about to switch to a new task, stop. Take 3 breaths. Take 3 deep breaths. If you're not driving or you're not moving, actually close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. What they do, you can actually even say it within or out loud. Release tension, set intention. You're releasing tension of the previous task. Maybe even focus on your shoulders, focus on your neck during your breath. Release tension, complete the task mindfully. And you're switching to a new task, setting intention. A very good example I heard is a billionaire. He comes from work. He's still sitting in the car. The job is so stressful. He knows he's about to walk in his house, wife, children, and he just feels so stressed. I mean, we can relate. Work is stressful. He closes his eyes. He spends about 7 minutes just breathing and speaking to himself. Release tension. Release tension. And he speaks to himself, set intention. So he set an intention to be himself. To be loving husband, loving father. And he walks in. It took him 7 minutes. I just say start with 3 breaths. All right, so it's really mindfully switching between the tasks. So I wonder, have you tried it before? If you haven't, how do you feel about that? Are you going to take it on? So release tension, set intention, take minimum 3 breaths between your actions, your activities. So put in the comments what are you feeling about this little tip. This one actually worked for me as the number 1. This is one of the very most important. So if you have to have a full-time hours at your job and it's a sit-in job and it's just ongoing, and by the end of the day, you just get so drained, and even in the middle of the day. So what's recommended? You remember we talked about energy? What's recommended is to actually give yourself 45 minutes each hour. And after 45 minutes, stop and give yourself 15-minute break. And that break can be anything, but not sitting at the desk and doing what you were doing. So again, you are taking that break. You can do jumping jacks, you can look at the sky, meditate. I prefer do some kind of physical activity. I don't have 15 minutes. Sometimes it seems a little bit luxurious. 10 minutes is perfect. 5 minutes is also great. So whatever time frame you have, but it's recommended every 60 minutes you take 45-minute work and then you take 15-minute break. Whatever that break means, just switching that activity and getting your body energized. It's producing that energy on demand. All right, and you can sit down, release tension, and set intention for the next hour or 45 minutes. If you have an important phone call, you can actually Slow down for 15 seconds and say the same thing to yourself. Release tension and set intention. What do you want to achieve in that phone call? Think about the intention. I guarantee you that phone call will be so much more successful compared to you just jumped from the other task. You picked up the phone, you started talking to the person, still so stressed, and why in the world are we talking here? So, all right. And there's an interesting point I heard last week, and I actually wrote it down for myself. Ask yourself 3 questions. So before you are about to start a new activity, ask yourself 3 questions, okay? And it's about everything in your job, with kids, with the family, friends, house task, anything that is involved in your everyday activity. Question number 1, is it important? So let's say I'm cooking the dinner for kids in the evening. Is it important? Yes. Question number 2, is it my responsibility? Actually, cooking the dinner in the evening, I may kind of think sometimes it is mine, sometimes I can give it to my kids and prepare the dinner and they can finish it. So I can actually distribute that responsibility a little bit. Question number 3, does it match with my priorities? Whoa, that's a big one. My family is my number 1 priorities. If I don't make this dinner tonight, then I'm gonna starve. My kids can cook. But I know that I'm making dinner several times a week. So if I miss, I already have done it in the past. They know I go work out on Monday, Wednesday. So if I miss cooking Wednesday, they still have some meal in the fridge. Well, it does match my priorities, but I can skip it once in a while, and they know it's important for me. Okay. So, 3 questions before you get into action. Number 1, is this action important? Number 2, is it my responsibility? Number 3, does it match my priorities? I wonder, give me in the comments one example that you actually can put those 3 questions into work. What would be an example for you that you would use those questions powerfully? I am curious. Ludmila, how about you? What are you feeling here? All right, let's see. And sometimes I start from this is what's important in your life, but I felt that finding a balance in everyday life is really about this little things that we do every day, the routine stuff. So how do you find the balance in the routine stuff? Well, take breath. Really relax into your day. Sometimes you say relax into your chaos. If your kids are screaming and playing out loud and you feel so stressed, how do you find balance in that? Well, give your body an opportunity to take deep breaths even in that loud time and just breathe. And switch between activities in a powerful way. Give yourself time to release tension and set intention while breathing. And ask yourself questions. Is it important? Is it my responsibility? Does it match my priorities? This by itself is so powerful, unbelievable. If you practice this every day, pretty much like every time you're switching your activities, it is incredibly powerful and useful already. And so all this, especially the question, does it match my priorities? So what are my priorities? I invite you to really take a look at your life and maybe write down or speak out loud or speak within. What are your 3 top priorities in life? What are they? Maybe 5, but let's start with 3. What is the most important in my life? By the way, I'm curious. Put in the comments, what are your 3 top priorities in life? They can be different. Maybe today it's these priorities, and 3 months from now, it will be something else. So it's important to revisit. But today, what are your 3 top priorities in life? Mine, health. Well, actually, I put family first, health and finances. You see, that was 2 days ago. This morning is health, number 1. Family and finances. So those are your top priorities. And it is important to keep an eye on them and plan your year, your month, your week, your day based on your priorities. Why? Because if we slip through routine everyday activities and we forget that our health is one of our 3 priorities and we just always postpone it someday, we are going to do jumping jacks and eat that good salad someday, that priority kind of is on the background and is not being taken care of. So you will constantly find yourself being overwhelmed, stressed, and unsatisfied. And you may even not realize why. Well, because your priority is not being taken care of. You know? Or you're spending so much time at work and your priority is your family. You come home so late and maybe you work over the weekends and that priority is being underlooked and you feel like you're missing in life. Well, and you might not even know why. Well, because this priority is not taken care of. And please remember, it's not about the amount of time, it's about the quality time. All right, and according to that, really prioritize your actions. In my calendar, I put as the high priority every day to-do list or action list or accomplish list. I put exclamation marks. So let's say if it's the most important for the day, it takes 3 exclamation marks. If it's important, it takes 2. If it's important but not as the others, it takes 1. And the other just kind of to-do list without exclamation marks. And sometimes I put time frames, so it's important to prioritize. And what I noticed, some little things can be easy and fast to make. And something what is on my priority list might take longer time. Or it's more challenging, therefore it's very easy to postpone it. But if it's not being taken care of, I don't feel my day is accomplished. I don't feel somewhat satisfied, and I just don't feel my day is balanced or my life is balanced. So it's important to pay attention and have at least, I'm thinking, just one action a day that is in your high priority list. So if my health is my one of top priorities, one of 3 priorities, I want to make sure I exercise, or I want to make sure I get enough healthy food during the day. And that by itself, when I reflect my day in the evening, when it's taken care of that day, I feel, yeah, my life was balanced today. So I'm curious, where are you here? So what resonates with you in this conversation? All right, so a couple of other points that I wanted to make is in the realm of, is this my responsibility question? So sometimes we are taking on so much because we feel we have to be a good mom if you're a mom, or we have to be a good dad, and we take more on that we actually can. So let's say if you feel you gotta clean the house, how about, well, what if it's our responsibility to keep the house clean, but maybe you can find a house cleaner. Or maybe you can even distribute responsibilities. Like in my house, my kids help with dishes. Minimum once a week, it's their responsibility to clean the dishes. Even if I have time and I know it's their responsibility today, they're going to do it. So just distributing responsibilities is a great way to give yourself some time. And so I'm looking at what else I didn't mention. And oh, this is a big one. Stop when time to stop. I know this is actually one of my challenges. I know this is me, for me personally, at 8 o'clock, whatever I'm doing, especially business-wise, any kind of that is not preparation for the bedtime activities, it's time to stop and start slowly getting ready for bed. It might be walking to the bedroom, unfolding in the bed, and do something that is setting my mind, my emotions, my body towards the calming state and preparing towards the bed. Stop when it's time to stop. Also, what I just heard actually this morning is so when you're, let's say that you're planning your day, you jot down actions that you need to take for today or maybe tomorrow. If it's in the evening, great to plan your day ahead. And make a guess how much time each step will take. Usually, what we think it will take, double it. Usually it takes twice as long as we may think that this action will take. Whoa, that's a big one. So if I know that sending up my business card to a printer will take, let's say, 10 minutes, schedule 30 minutes. The miracle here is if it took me 10-15 minutes, I have another 15 or 10 minutes to have something else done. So I go through my to-do list and I can catch 2 or 3 other actions that I kind of put on less priority list. So you actually get more done than as if you schedule like minute by minute and you just don't seem to have that time, get those things done in the time frame. All right, and really be laser focused. Again, I'm going back. There's no multitasking. It's really switching from task to task. So once you set your mind to do that task, do that. Don't get distracted by text messages or Facebook or emails or something else. I just got a text message while doing the live stream. I'm not looking at it, but I know who sent it to me. It's so tempting to get distracted. Well, if I do, you will be waiting for me to talk. No. Laser focused on your activity. And again, when it's time to stop, stop. Ooh, that's a good one. And plan your work your plan. You heard that. Also, what's important, especially in the realm when you work for yourself or when it's your family activities, your daily things, routine things that really nobody expects, or maybe even people expect you to do, but there's not a big accountability. It's important to be accountable to yourself. Commit to your actions, promise yourself, and do that. And if something doesn't happen, forgive yourself and recommit, repromise, and do it again. Life is a progress. Perfection is in the progress. So this is my intake on how to balance your everyday life. So I wonder, from what you heard, what do you feel is the easiest part? What do you feel is the most challenging part? So how do you balance your everyday life? My way, what works for me, is to take short breaks. It's recommended every hour to take 15-minute breaks. What do you do in these breaks? You breathe, release tension, set intention, look at the sun, get your energy on demand, a little bit of physical, jumping jacks, whatever it feels that is right at that moment to bring that energy back, and set intention for your next activity. Also important to ask yourself a question. What I'm about to do, is it important? Is it my responsibility? Does it match my priorities? It's important to step back and know your top priorities in life. How about just 3 priorities? What's the most important areas of your life? And plan your life, plan your day according to those priorities. For me, at least 1 activity a day must be within my top priorities. Minimum 1 activity. Also, what helps me, I kind of briefly mentioned, is reflect my day. How did it go? What am I grateful for? What did I accomplish this day? And set intention for next day. What am I taking on? What can I do different? Does it match my priorities? Set your intentions for the next day. All right, so what resonates with you? What would you like to take on? What seems to be the most difficult? What's the least difficult? What's the easiest activity, action tip that you would like to take on for this week? So how do you balance your everyday life? All right, well, thank you very much for watching. If you missed those videos, you can always go back to either my Facebook page, Nadia Touch, Health and Life Coach, or you can subscribe for my YouTube channel, The Natural Power 100. These videos are also uploaded to the YouTube channel, and you can receive weekly, I believe, notifications and watch anytime. And also please join us, Friends in Health. It's the closed but free Facebook community for your daily inspiration and motivation in your wellness journey. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, I'm curious, please put in the comments what's your biggest aha or appreciation of this conversation. Thank you. I can't wait to read your comments, and I'll see you in the community. Have a blessed day.